Hi everyone, I'm Jillian. I'm a learning advisor with Academic Skills, and in this short video, I'm going to go over our key takeaways from our O-Week workshop on reflective writing. So first of all, what is reflective writing? It is all about you. It is not just a summary of what you learned or what happened during an experience, such as a group work experience or an internship. You'll be using the pronouns I and my and really trying to dig deeply into your own experience and what you learned from it. And so in that case, it narrates the relationship between your current learning and your past experience. So that's very personal. And so it's not just detailing what happened or writing out the content of what was covered in a lecture. It's much more personal than that. It is about your learning journey and talking about also the steps you might take in the future, how the learning has changed you and what you might do differently based on what you have learned. So why are you asked to do this? Why is this type of academic writing assigned to you? It does highlight your critical thinking skills. Asking yourself why, how, what have I learned are always ways to develop your critical thinking. And this is a more unique and personalized way to show that critical thinking and demonstrate it. It helps you to gain professional skills. This is a very popular way to demonstrate your learning and value in professional settings as well. Everything from engineering to nursing to teaching to a lot of different professions use this type of reflection, whether written or oral. So it's a great skill to get used to. It also avoids academic integrity breaches because it's so personalized. It's very unlikely that there will be any issues with plagiarism. So it's what we call an authentic assessment. And then it allows you to more deeply discover how a course or an experience has impacted you. Thinking something is very different than writing something. So when you're given the requirement to write something down, it actually allows you to understand and discover, in this case, what you've learned or what you've experienced, what it meant to you, much more deeply than if you were just to have a thought about it and then move on. So there's a couple different styles of reflective writing. One is a bit more informal, where maybe over a series of weeks, you're asked to write in a learning journal or a portfolio where you provide entries about what you thought about the week's topics, how it connected to your previous learning, how your thinking might be changing over the course of several weeks. So that's one. There's more formal reflections that have to do with an experience. If you're in later years, you might be going on an internship experience or having a group work assignment. And often as part of that group work assignment is an individual component where you might be asked to reflect on the experience of working in a group and what you learned through that. And then you also might be asked to do a more formal reflection on your learning in the course that would have more of a traditional essay format. It'd be a little bit longer than the informal entries in a learning journal, and would probably have references where you reference the texts or authors of theories that you draw upon to discuss more critically what you've learned and how that's changed and adapted your thinking. Okay, so what makes reflective writing good? You want to show that you're thinking deeply and critically about your learning experience. And you'll see in the next couple slides and in the slides that I have put on our webpage that you can just access some questions to help spur that critical thinking so you can demonstrate that critical and deep thinking. You want to also show the development of your thinking and how you understand and apply concepts and theories to your own experiences, to your own learning. So it always comes back to what you were thinking, how you might have changed, adapted, developed, more deeply understood the content through the learning journey of this course and what you brought to the course based on your past knowledge and experiences. And so the main way to do that is through identifying this key thing that you've learned. So that's thinking about a key message. What is the key thing that I've learned? And then how can I support that throughout my reflective essay or throughout my reflective entry, whatever it is. So what is that key thing you learned in that internship experience or throughout the course? And then how can you support that through specific examples throughout the body of your reflective piece. And so that's going to be really key. Here are those questions I was talking about in terms of great critical questions to ask yourself if you've been asked to write a reflection on your learning. So check back in with those to help to prompt you. And then here are some questions that would help in an experience, such as a group work or internship experience reflection, these kinds of questions will help you to think more deeply about what happened in that experience and how you felt, how it affected you, what your perception was, and how you might have grown and changed and developed through that experience. We are always growing and changing and developing, so digging deep to figure out how that worked for you through that experience. Okay, and so here's just a little map to follow when structuring your reflective essay. It looks very much like how you would structure an essay or even a report. It would be similar. And you do want to add there your key message within that introduction, first paragraph, first or second paragraph. What is your key reflection? What is the key thing that you feel you've learned, or the way that you've changed or grown through the learning or more face-to-face experience in an internship or something like that. And again, those paragraphs are going to support that. Zoom in on those particular moments, that particular theory, that particular lecture, and what was said in that lecture that changed your thinking, that connected to something you knew previously, you thought previously, and, you know, further confirmed that understanding or changed it and shifted it in some way. You want to hone in on those specific examples within your paragraphs that connect up to that key message you've indicated in the introduction. And then a conclusion, summarizing what you've said in your body paragraphs, and then thinking about the future. How might this experience or learning impact you down the line in future courses in your career path? And then again, you want to be thinking about then that paragraph unit that you do have those topic sentences that state the point, the reflective lesson you're going to focus on, that more particular moment you're going to zoom in on in that paragraph, and then think about following the 3 R's here, really retelling, you know, what happened quite quickly, relating it to you, your thinking, your perception, your previous experience, and then reflecting, what did you learn from that interaction between what happened and how you perceived it. Okay, so remember, reflections are all about you, your connection to the course, to the practice, to the experience. You want to show that journey, that change. So you had a shift. All learning changes us, makes us grow. So how can you show that growth? You want to zoom in on that source or trigger for the change, that particular lecture, that theory, that chapter that you read, that person who said that thing to you that made you think differently. And you want to develop that systematically through your paragraphs. You want to make an outline to really show that you can create and support that cohesive key message. And then at the end, really showing the implications of that insight. How will this impact you going forward? Okay, hope that was helpful. This is just our final slide about our services. We'd love to talk to you more through one of our services in peer writers, writing coaches, or learning advisors about any reflections that you're writing. And best of luck with your reflective writing.